it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go
No,
lefty.
we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion.
Into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. What's up, bowlers? Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town & Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia. Everything, don't worry, we're still live.
Did you just clap your hands and it shut the light off?
No, my entire system just went.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's all good. You guys just keep on going.
Kyle's laptop
We just can't see anything.
is
They
ancient.
can't see us?
No, they can see us.
Kyle's
We can't see
laptop
them.
is from
Do you need my
probably
laptop?
the dinosaur age.
You need my laptop?
Give me 1 second. Yes, it is. And I really need to buy a new one because my battery is completely shot. I'm now noticing
Charger
that
also doesn't.
I may not have
anything.
plugged it in. So go ahead.
Nice.
Do your thing.
Yeah. Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. I'm back this week. I probably don't sound the best, but we're fighting the germs that
There's
have
been a ton
entered
of
my
them.
body. Yeah. And it's just a pre or a post nasal drip, not a prenatal. Post nasal drip. So if I sound bad today, I'm sorry. It might sound better for some ladies. They might like my raspy voice today. So Anthony, how was your week this week? Wow. Thanks for asking, Kyle. Monday, Austin, we bowled Monday.
Yep.
Oh,
we
your
bowled.
team didn't show up. How'd you hit them?
Well, we beat them by 1 point.
Win's a win, Jimmy.
Hey, listen, that's 1 point up on our lead that we already had.
Yeah, that's good. My team, we are fighting for third, tied for third and fourth this week. Ended up winning 38 out of 28, or no,
38 out of
38
possible
versus
64.
Yeah, so we won 38. The other team won 28. Funny enough, I bowled fantastic for the first two, throwing the, as Brad Miller called, the Equinox or whatever he called it. And 250, 220. We start off with a great 470, and then, we go into the final match. I go 190, and we bowl 4. So I shoot 190 game 3. Game 4, my look just never really matriculated. Is that a good word?
Matriculated. Is that a real word?
It is a real word. I just don't know if it applies.
I'm pretty sure that's fairly charged up too, Kyle. So just give it a second.
sorry.
'cause it is on.
I
And I struck out to win my point. And I struck out to win team total that game. So we actually snuck out two very narrow victories this week.
Bob Collins absolutely spit roasted me this week.
He
shot
roasted.
Yeah, he shot.
That's a new one.
God, 970 scratch.
Wow.
Lit him up. I mean, came out of the gate with 260,
Wow.
then backed it up with a 250.
Good for him.
And then he had a third game. I think he struggled a little bit. And then fourth game came back with another 250.
Bobby, if you're watching, maybe I'll give you some money for jackpots. You've been slacking the past few weeks. So,
But I will say, I shot 250 the last game to get my team average, which gave us 2
the
points.
extra, the extra safety.
So it was either lose a point or win or gain a point.
That's a nice little 2. That's a plus.
It was a good game too. I
Absolutely.
almost 7-10. 10 pin went down late, and then I just flat 10'd in the 8th or 9th.
I had a heartbreaker 710 on Tuesday. Ended up shooting 740 or 750. With I think I went 9 spare next 7 and then 710. We ended up winning the match. Yeah, we won the match because I punched out and I held Larry, the Iron Lotus, to a minimal, I think, 1 point.
That's tough.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to bowl. And then we ended up winning like 25 or 26. So that was a good night too. And even more fun, I got to practice till 2 a.m. last night. So
That's crazy.
That doesn't sound like fun.
Well, no, for me it is because nobody's here, and
Just
I really
just
could
you and the ghosts.
I'll tell you what, man. There's been a few times where I swear to God I've seen something. No, I swear I've seen people walking before in a flannel shirt. I've seen a guy in a salmon shirt at the front desk before. Some funky
like
things that
salmon,
happen.
like
a
it's
pink
got
salmon
on the shirt.
No,
Yeah,
it's
or
all
salmon colored.
Salmon colored. So I've had some weird experiences with that, but I've just learned to embrace it. One time, this is the creepiest one. This was the weirdest thing. listen, I was drilling a ball, and back then, where we are facing, there is a little workbench area. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but there is. If you haven't been in the shop, But I was drilling a ball for Jeremy Hook Camp the day before the Invitational.
Oogie.
Yeah, it was like 1:30 in the morning because I got everything ready. You know, I want to make sure everything's prepped. And dude, I swear to God, somebody was right behind me the whole time. You ever had that weird feeling, and then you turn around and like. It was weird. I swear to God, I freaking got out of here so fast. I freaking didn't even finish that ball.
I got some good ghost stories, but I think we should probably talk about
Bowling.
I think a good topic would be maybe the Baker's doubles that has finished up.
Ew.
Yeah, fine.
Serious ew.
Screw my
Before we do
Baker
that,
doubles.
don't forget to like,
Or
subscribe,
Screw my ghost stories.
click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Sorry, apparently my charger has failed, so that's what
Computer,
was going on.
charger, one of the
Yeah. Let's see here. So since you guys are already talking about your week, the rest of the show, or after in a few minutes, we'll be talking about the PBA in Illinois this week, as well as the results of the U.S. Open. But yeah, let's talk about the Baker's doubles quick because I was 0 for 3 for my 3 tries. And I don't know. I was in the pocket a lot, but I couldn't strike. Tried a lot of different stuff, but it wasn't a great success. And a couple of times, like, you know, it would be like my partner striking and then I'm striking, but not at the same time. So it was just timing was not great for me and my partners that week. But thanks to Joey for bowling with me. Thanks to Don Guest. And of course, my doubles partner, Nick Harris, who then bowled with Kevin LeClaire
And whack.
and destroyed them. Yeah, absolutely mashed them.
Must be nice to know that you're the one who rides Nick every time that you get.
Yeah, you're saying that I'm the one that needs the help?
Well, I mean, if he cashed for somebody else.
No, I know, but no offense to him, but I think he would argue otherwise, because even last night he was saying, "Yeah, I couldn't strike," and then I did the exact same thing the next block and couldn't miss.
Sounds
was
like
impressive.
he had better aura.
You're right. We're right. Yeah, when you're with me, there's just so much pressure. You know.
Yeah, because you're getting so many brackets. I mean, you know,
Is it pressure or negativity?
I am not negative. I'm a good teammate. I will say. I'm not just saying.
Just ask him.
Exactly. But I'm a good teammate. I don't try to bring anybody down. I don't rag on anybody. I only help when needed or asked, and I don't try to ride on my partner. It's just not a fun day.
No.
We've all had those days where your partner is just up your ass the whole time, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Anita says I make him nervous at Bud Bowl.
Well, if you want to know more about Baker's, we had 286 teams. That's I'd say about 20 short of last year, but we did miss a full day of squads due to league bowling. So we averaged 26 teams per event. So if we did hit that average, we probably would have hit the same number as last year. Notice how I didn't extend the tournament. I just let it run for the same amount of time that it
actually
should
less.
I did run it for less time, but I didn't extend it to get the extra date,
right,
or to get more teams. I'm not concerned about that. This one is to get done before everybody else comes in with their big scratch ones. A lot of different people can bowl. There's a lot of different opportunities. First place is the prize fund stayed very similar to what it has been. I think we're paying around, it's like $12,800 in prize fund. First place is $2,000, and the top 50 teams will cash, which is about 1 in 5.5. So, pretty good ratio there for everybody. Pretty good opportunity for everybody. The two top teams were scratch. They came in the last day and absolutely did fantastic. But the guys who held the lead for the longest had a few pins, and then the guys who took over on Saturday also had, I think they had about 40 pins to handicap a game. And before anybody kills me and says that's a lot, you got to remember it is on a little bit of a more difficult shot. And a lot of times when there were two-handers or two guys without thumbs, the rev rates are so high that a lot of times they have trouble on the house shot when they're so wet dry or so cliff. So for these guys actually bowl a little bit better on the 6.5 to 1 with their handicap. And
that's what I'm going to say. My problem is on the house shot. I got such a strong hand. I'm so good.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Matt, thanks for participating. Hopefully you had a great time, but we had a lot of fun. It was great. We're lucky that Jacko gives the bowlers a nice, a generous amount that we have to pay in lineage, and he kind of just says, yeah, I don't know, just tell me how much I get paid at the end. And I say, okay. So we did add some money back in from brackets though, so your money does get kicked back in from brackets, but we obviously, we give our girls or our tournament staff some bonuses for doing an absolute fantastic job keeping everybody organized and running all the brackets and running the scores and helping me do handicaps. So it was pretty good. And top 50 are going to get paid, so it should be 2,000 for first, 1,000 for second, 750 for third. I think there was a tie, so I think it was like 650 or 625 a team for third and fourth. We had one team hit the 300, or two teams hit the 300 jackpot, 3 300s. So we had Jeff Connor and Chucky Schisler who didn't get in the 300 pot.
Oh no.
We had Mike and Nick Messino who were in the 300 pot, and Matt and Natasha Fazone who were in the 300 pot. So
I didn't know that there were two more. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
was it all in the last weekend?
It was all in the last weekend. Yeah, and
I would like to say Matt Fazone had the opportunity to throw 2 more 300s.
Yeah,
like
he
front
did.
11 or front 10 or
on Sunday they went
front
299, 299, 250, 230, 298,
I think, or 298.
Yeah. He had 299 and 298 in the same set with the same partner on different lanes.
Matt left 6-8, I think.
Yeah, Matt left the 6-8. Well, he would have been divorced if he struck on that shot.
Brandon tried. He left the 10.
Yeah, Brandon left the 10, but he did snowplow the shot before.
Yes,
he snowplowed the shot before. So, it was really interesting. To watch all the.
Did you mention first and second?
What about it?
Matt
Fazone.
Yeah, he won with Taylor Claire. They actually were clean for 5 games. We had no teams at the clean pot, so all that money rolled back over. I think it was about $650 rolled back into the prize fund for everybody. I believe that the closest team was Taylor and Matt Fazone had 59 and Connor and Matt had 59, I believe. But Taylor and Matt were clean for the first 5 games. Matt changed on a fill ball, struck, threw the next shot through the face, and then it was like a split.
And then the rest out.
And then they threw the rest to win by 5.
So am I to understand that this is like a gift to your left-handed friend, Matt Fazone?
I mean, I don't think it was.
How do you come in first and second?
Well, the Leclercs did that last year as well.
That's true.
I think it's just, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Those guys really lit him up and did really well. And, it's the last squad. Guys are going to bowl a little bit better. The squads were a little stronger, so I think the lanes opened up a little bit better for the righties.
A ton.
They did strike.
I bowled in the first squad.
They struck so much.
They struck a ton.
Dude, it was unbelievable.
It wasn't a carry fest. I mean, they were just packed.
Yeah. Right. I will say the other thing that is interesting that maybe other people don't pay attention to, but I do. Mm-hmm. Obviously you have to run the lane machine, right? So the lane machine runs out of paper, the cleaning cloth, as we call it. Well, the squad before on Sunday, the first squad, the paper. We had about 3 or 4 lanes left, but instead of running it, we flipped it over. So
you changed the paper.
We changed the paper. Yeah. So I expected the scores, the lanes to really be hooking and the scores to kind of be flaky because there'll be more transition. But believe it or not, the scores were super steady. They had a little bit more back end, but it wasn't where something you would notice. But obviously that's just normal run of the mill maintenance that you have to do. It's not like we planned it that way. It just, I paid attention to it. Well, let me see how things go once we change the paper and that lower amount of paper.
Lanes on a roll of paper is what, like a 1/4 inch of paper, like thickness.
They do 500, so yeah, maybe, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, or so 1/10 of the paper.
So but as it gets lower, a lot of times we notice that the lanes get a little bit tighter. So I don't think they play.
There's not as much
tight.
paper touching the lane when it's narrower.
They were tight for me all day.
But I mean, it just doesn't turn as much. It turns more. It turns less. No, it turns more when there's less.
So that it can get to the clean spot.
Roll. Yeah. But I paid attention to that just to see what would happen, and I actually had no idea that Matt and Taylor had a chance until somebody told me.
So you're talking about the paper. It actually made me think, how much are they not paying attention to? Because obviously they pay attention to this stuff like this, especially since they have multiple lane machines going. But let's say at all of the USBC events or even PBA events or whatever, is that something that they're monitoring super closely, or do they just let the machine say, "Up, I'm out of paper"?
That's what they do.
Because I'm just bringing it up because it's like, well, it's a good thought. The lanes might be a little different this day or that day. they're going to be different anyway. The environment always changes.
100%.
But I was just like, you just brought it up. And I'm like, I wonder if that's something that they even consider or think about when the lane machines are in the back and they can take a look at how much paper's left.
Yeah.
Or
they're probably using like the cloth that goes for like 1,000 lanes.
That's got to be
K4 cloth, I think it is.
Isn't that like wouldn't that be a super thick roll?
Yeah, but they have upgraded system where you can get that. So that way it's actually more consistent. You change a little bit less.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you talk about batches of oil. So like for this tournament, exactly, I order a case of oil for this Baker's doubles because we use fire. That way
you have it for the whole month.
That way I have it for the whole month instead of having 2 different batches. That way it tries to stay a little bit more consistent. And then I usually order a little
who'd
bit
have thought
cleaner.
That he was so thoughtful
Well,
to order extra oil.
Well, I don't it's not extra oil. It's just that's what I use.
Well,
for
keep
the
it not extra, just but
to try to keep the same batch.
Order a whole batch or order a whole order to keep it in the same batch. Or do they make sure that they're in the same batch when they arrive? Let's say on the pallet, are they always the same batch, or do you get the same?
I believe it comes like if I look at the box, I believe there's a batch number on the box.
Yeah,
and probably a batch number on the jug too.
Let's say, I need to order 5 jugs of oil. Are they going to make sure? Whatever. Are they going to? It's
come in 4s.
Okay. Are they going to make? Well, so the box will, but let's say you get 2 boxes.
It's a possibility that you get 2 batches.
Right.
So what a lot of guys will do is they'll put it in a big drum and mix it.
Oh, okay.
That way it's technically the same. So that way it lasts longer. But that's another reason why. That's another reason why a lot of guys will use the cartridges now. Instead of like some guys will use the cartridges where you buy the cartridge that's filled up.
The mini cartridge, like the little things that plug into the machine.
Some people will buy those because then it's kind of like
instead of refilling it.
Yeah, some people do that to maybe because I think you get a certain amount of cartridges in there, and I don't really know if it lasts long or not. But that's
gotta be more expensive.
That's another reason why I think using A and B tank at the same oil. If you're running like the pattern out at nationals, that's why I think that running 2 different tanks with the same oil would be more beneficial because then you're using less oil from each tank, so you can fill them up more or you fill them up less. So then you're really not
you would fill them up less.
Yeah.
Do they? Well, that would be the only issue is if they're the pattern that your calls for 2 different oils.
If they do, but they haven't done that in a few years, so that's why I just threw that out there.
Right.
Usually they're using like fire, but I think they've been using fire the past few years, and I don't think we've seen terrain. But no, we haven't seen any mixture patterns. I don't think in the past few years. Usually they're using 1. So that's me and my father talk about. When you're trying to get the most consistency, I said, well, you would want to mix it together, and then you want to put them in A and B because then if A only uses 10, B only uses 10, you're not using 20 in cartridge A. You're only using 10 and 10. You have to fill it up less. Plus, it'll be a little more consistent because now you're not going to use as much. So if you do have 2 different batches, they're going to stay in the tank longer because you're using them at a different rate.
But then is there any separation in the oil that, if they're in there for longer? Well, that's what I'm saying. So the machine goes up and down, so I'm sure that does some mixing. But that's what I was saying. The longer it stays in the machine, does it separate?
You're always before I fill the cartridges, I always shake it, and that way, it kind of, gets all the stuff together because it will separate
the different chemicals inside of the jug will separate.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's got to mix in. I'm assuming there's a bypass on the pump that goes right back to the tanks, right?
How do you mean?
Because like most pumps, they pump a certain amount and they only allow a certain amount out of the valve. And the rest of what's pumped goes back into the tank.
No, there's a reservoir. There's a reservoir underneath it. So what happens is if it is open a little bit too long, the plunger, it sits in there. So like when you run out of oil, you don't necessarily run out of oil. You have like a reserve tank, like a car. So you could technically oil 1 more lane instead of filling it up. That way the pump doesn't have any air in it. So that way you don't have to feed it through with the pump, through the air to get back to the liquid. So that way, if there is, you have a little bit of time to fill it back up, and it doesn't have that air in it. So then you're really not oiling. You've got a little bit of leniency. We'll use that word.
So, once again, another great tournament.
It was
here
good.
At Town and Country Lanes.
Appreciate everybody's support. It was great.
I was 0 for 3, so
I cashed with a lefty.
That's Mark what James. I need. I think that's what I need.
You need Mark James.
I need Mark James in my life, or even
my dad. I believe my dad cashed with Mark James too.
He did.
Maybe I'll ask Matt one time. If he'll have me.
Well, you're 0 for 3. What are the chances that he bowls with an 0 for 3?
Everybody looks at us like not just like me or Nick or whatever, like house rat. I'm like, I've not scored once in this tournament.
I think Terry Ray, believe it or not, has cashed in every TNC tournament this year so far. Between team,
who did you say?
Club Terry Ray.
Oh,
between club and the semi-classic and whatever he's bowled in. I don't think he bowled in the Swiss trios, but the
I think
semi-classic
this is the
and the
first one I've
doubles.
cashed in this year.
So he's like, I'm staying hot. I'm always cashing. So well, there's nothing wrong with that, T-Ray.
No. That was very disappointing this weekend.
It was a good
this
pattern.
past weekend.
It was a good pattern. Actually, the scores were exactly what were anticipated last time we had this pattern out. The winner was 15-15. The winner this year was 15-20.
That's crazy.
And second was 15-13. So I knew exactly kind of what the scoring pace was going to be like. Last year was 14-66 to win. And I think cashing was about 20 pins lower than it was this year. So
all right, Matty, I got you.
For everybody saying that the scores are a little too high, it's only 20 pins more than it was last year. And first place was obviously a little bit higher, but that was the last time we had that. It was the same exact scoring pace. And I've actually only rotated between 2 or 3 patterns here because they've always been pretty well for everybody.
Well, the problem is you put a little bit tougher pattern out, and those handicap teams don't really matter anymore. The handicap doesn't help enough.
I don't
did
know.
this year.
The past
I'm saying
2
if you
years,
put a harder pattern out.
yeah, you don't need anything more than what we've got out. You know, it makes you have to throw a decent shot. The good guys are going to be able to open them up and play them a little bit better. And the handicap guys, you know, this year we did make it longer for the reason being of last year was 40 feet and they transitioned really quickly last year. So this year we added a little bit more back pass, a little bit longer. To kind of give the average guy, I'll call, a little bit more of that hold spot there like they're used to in league. So that way they also had a chance. Next year, I think I'm going to go back to something a little
48
shorter.
feet.
No, never. Absolutely not. 42 is probably the farthest we'll go for this
48
because
feet,
it plays well.
39 mils.
And if you
Put it
look
out.
at it, the scores were 1466 was the leader for
That was
3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
They led from the first squad until the Saturday of the last weekend. So, that was right on par with, or maybe it was 86, but that was right on par with about last year. I mean, you can't really argue.
No, it's not that bad. All right. Well, like I said, another great tournament. Let's talk about the.
Oh yeah, Don Harrington and Rich Strath won 1556 that one year. They shot 1 million.
That is a lot.
Yeah, I remember that.
So let's talk about the PBA, U.S. Open, both of those.
You sure you want to talk about that?
Why?
I don't know. I just wanted to see where you're going this week.
Oh, I just want to talk about the results.
Which results?
The fact that EJ Tackett is he's almost like Major Mika. Like he just wins everything. He doesn't just win majors; he wins everything.
It's cool to see a guy with a thumb do good.
Yes, 100%. But he also, I think, outspins everybody. I'll call it by a lot, a couple hundred, almost.
Wait, I did not listen to one thing you said. I was reading the comments.
That he spins it up like a lot.
Like he churns it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he uses like the weakest ball, gets in the middle lane, just freaking torches it.
Yeah.
Off, man.
So basically, I think Austin was talking about the results of the U.S. Open. Where was he again?
He was in the 70s after 9 games.
Right, and then made it to match play, and then just like
he made it to match play in like the top 10. I think I could be wrong. He could have been like 12th, but
meaning
he qualified second.
Yeah, ended up qualifying second
for the
insane.
TV final. I mean, that's ridiculous. To be back in the 70s,
right,
on day 2 of the tournament, and then qualify second for the TV show is unreal.
I think we've seen Bill O'Neill do that too last year when he was on his tear.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, congratulations to him. Our very first, he was our very first interview on this show. But congratulations to him for making the Hall of Fame, which is pretty sick.
Didn't you text him?
I sure did.
Freak.
There was a couple people that were inducted.
Yeah, him, Rash. I cannot remember his name, but he's a media guy that was doing it for something like 17 years.
I forget.
And he, got in for merit or something like that.
Can I get in for merit?
Only if you do something.
Well, are you saying I don't do anything?
What do you mean?
For the PBA.
He revamped the PBA league.
So yeah, Joel D says EJ is the last great hope for us thumb users. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, he really ain't wrong at this point. I mean, until we get me in there. Wait, I'm left-handed.
Still a thumber though.
I'm trying to see
for
here.
now.
But yeah, pretty amazing. I was hoping to see Andrew Anderson, make it, but when you have EJ Tackett coming after you, it's got to be a whole different game, right? Like mentally wise, it's got to be
That's got to be the greatest snapshot of Dick Allen
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Wait, was that say all snub team?
Yeah, for the
Those are the guys that weren't in the
that
weren't
weren't
on the
the team.
roster.
Oh, really?
He
That
tied for
scored, yeah.
28th, and of course they put him in like that. Sorry, I was looking
That's
for
funny.
his average. I believe he was averaging like 194 for like the first like EJ Tackett for
Okay.
like
Yeah.
the first like 18 games in the back 18, whatever it was.
Are we
He
talking about the U.S. Open?
Yeah, then he
Yeah.
averaged like 237.
It's insane.
Yeah, so he went like a 40-pin jump.
Yeah.
You know, he just wanted to give everybody a chance.
Right. Just give him a little breathing room, and then, but like I said,
He's giving everybody handicap
when
now.
when you
What the heck?
when you have EJ Tackett on your tail, like your brain has to change a little bit, right? Unless you are a stone cold killer that doesn't pay attention. But when you're in the finals on TV and you know that the next guy up is EJ Tackett, it's got to be tough.
I don't know. You don't think that these guys are
Qualifying
just
round
friends?
1, he was in 51st at 207.63.
I do think that they're friends, and I think that that takes a little bit off of it. But at the same time, you're bowling for $100,000, so there's that pressure, and then there's the additional pressure of this guy does not miss.
Yeah, I mean,
EJ Tackett after round 2, 78th, averaging 198.13.
It's insane.
it's interesting. Yeah, he's a good thumb player. I will say though that we look at the U.S. Open every so often, and the funny thing I think is that you really talk about how certain guys bowl well in the U.S. Open, certain guys bowl well on the tour.
Right.
You look at like Chris Vi, a good player. Listen, don't get me wrong, great player, fantastic. But when he hits the U.S. Open, it seems like he keeps his angles a little bit more in front of him. Maybe. He bowls a lot better. And then you look at Sterner. He's always pretty close to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Simo is always, really close to the top. I mean, he's pretty good.
He's good all the way around, yeah.
But you look at those guys where you're like, I don't see him a lot, but you see him always on the U.S. Opens. And, Chris Vi won. Lavoie is fantastic on, So it's interesting to see how different ball rules are, different styles.
Well,
not cater, but they are a plus.
It seems like that and maybe it's by design, I don't know, that the patterns on the PBA are, if you crank it, you tend to do a little better. If you're a finesse player, not so much. Whereas on the US Open or the USBC patterns, it seems like everybody has a chance. First of all,
Kyle Troop's usually up there too. Right?
Yep, but everybody has a chance, and including the finesse players, you know what I mean? So it's not like one group of players is, I don't want to use the word eliminated, but kind of left out. It's everybody has that same chance.
They're locked out of the
on the PBA patterns.
Yeah.
But on the USBC patterns, it seems like they're a little more playable. They are funky and weird and stupid looking, but
I will say
clearly more people have an opportunity to bowl at the top than on the tour patterns.
I will say that pattern that we were talking about last week did exactly what the guy said. 215.
I said the same exact thing.
215, 210 to 215.
They averaged exactly what he estimated they would, which was pretty amazing.
Very interesting.
Not typically how I like to see the patterns built, but it is what it is. But then you look at
but it seemed like they had some hook. You know what I mean? And
they had the dry board.
Right.
That was so basically what he did is
he took out the dry board.
He took out 5 to the gutter, so he actually just made the lane thinner.
Well, he took out 5 and 6 because if you jumped over that dry board, it went straight.
That's what I'm saying. So he took the outside
from 5 to the gutter.
He narrowed the lane.
Understood. Yeah. So you're saying that 5 is your gutter. If you hit 5 past 5, you're toast.
Yeah. So 5 was your gutter, and so he kind of eliminated, some of the straighter players. In a sense, because then I don't know if the ball would double hook or whatever.
And maybe that's why everything kind of changed in the finals or match play rather, because from match play all the way through through TV was that pattern.
Yeah, interesting to see, that would happen. Then
so that definitely catered to the.
I would like to say
spin up players,
guys who really rev it up.
Yeah.
What is it? Landon Jordan is his name, right?
Yeah, Landon Jordan from Sycamore, Illinois.
He's bowled 2 U.S. Opens. He's made both match plays.
Yeah, and he's like 18 or something like that.
Yeah, he's very young.
Yeah,
all right, so congratulations to EJ Tackett, another U.S. Open win.
Timmy Tan, 15th from Malaysia.
So let's talk about the Illinois Classic and simultaneously Roth Holman doubles, which I don't know how everyone feels about that. I like the efficiency aspect. I don't know if they should be bowling 2 tournaments at once. What do you guys think?
Are they using the
I
same
think it doesn't
scores?
really matter. They're using the same scores.
Yeah, they're using the qualifying scores of the Illinois Classic to
Go for the doubles.
correct.
Well, my question is, how did the Malats get in? And how did some
Commissioner's exemption? Well, Wes Malott has won.
Listen, I'm not talking about West.
Yeah, his
but his
kid.
son. Like,
Yeah.
how does so is the Roth Holman doubles open?
I do not know. I'll
Okay.
have to look it up.
Well, I've got it right her.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna look up the team. I'll look at the tournament notes while I'm here. But I was just surprised to see because I've never seen his son play bowling
On a PBA event.
Yeah, I haven't seen it because I don't look hard.
He has to be a full member though.
He probably is, but I just I don't see him out there. I'm
Mhm.
not saying it's not like I look for the guy, but I'm like, oh, he bowled. Wait,
You would
how did he bowl?
if we notice Ryan Barnes, you would notice I already forgot his name. Malott, his first name.
Oh yeah, Jordan
Malott.
Jordan Malott.
You would notice, oh, there's another father-son duo out there.
Like Anthony Nyer was in the Roth Holman doubles.
Yeah.
I don't think he was exempt.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And then that's the only people. There's only 16 teams. Oh, that's match play. Halo. Sorry. But yeah, no, I'm just looking here. I mean, there's a few guys that, the Levery Spars. I don't think they're exempt anymore. Let's see. That Thomas Larson, is he still gone? Or is he still exempt, Kyle?
I'd have to look. I can't remember all.
J.R.
of these
Raymond
guys.
and Cody Shoemaker. They're not exempt guys. So it's interesting. It looks like it's open, so it looks like they're allowing them to bowl and do 2 at once, which is interesting. I mean, I don't know. How do I feel about it? I mean, if it's a smaller event, which it looks like the Illinois Classic is a smaller event. It's not really your high TV or whatever one. I don't think.
Excuse me.
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think it's great. I think it gives more people an opportunity, like we've talked about. And I think they get points for that too. And I think, that's a pretty good efficiency move by the PBA, I will say. I'm gonna agree with them on this one.
Plus, let's say the people that make TV are not your typical players. It just, more exposure because they are taping that finals. I don't know what exactly when they're playing that on the television on FS1. But yeah, they're taping that final. So there will be more exposure for the guys that are newer.
I will say I do not see any of those names you mentioned in the PTQ. So they were definitely
allowed in.
Commissioner exempt.
Yeah, which is interesting. Which is cool. I mean, I'm not against it. I like the two event thing. I think you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, especially for the guys who want to get a shot, or guys who are, they travel all year long. I think it makes a little bit more sense to maybe, if you're going to do some doubles or, maybe run two tournaments at the same time, but, or keep it there for a week and run 2 separate events. I mean, that way you're saving money. Everything's going to be set up. Bingo, bango. Let's run it through and see exactly what's going to happen. But I kind of like the dual event thing. Might as well throw trios in there maybe one time.
No, we got 3 events going on. You've got Illinois Classic, doubles, and then the league.
Oh. Well, the league doesn't really count because that's always like simultaneous.
Yes.
I'm just saying that I think that the doubles and singles is a great call. I think it's a good move. Financially, it's probably a great move. It saves their live stream. And guys, you're probably going to get a bigger draw because people are going to want to watch, let's just say J.R. Raymond. They watch his YouTube.
Right.
Maybe they're going to be
Darren.
more interested in watching. Yeah, Darren, maybe let's say Darren Bowles and Mikey. I don't know.
Brad and Kyle.
They're going to have a little bit more of a appeal, I think, to maybe get some more viewership too. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think that maybe that's the way that they need to go. If they're only going to run, let's just say half a year, right? Because they only run about half a year now. I mean, if you can if you can run 2 events in a week and take a week off and then go to another place and run 2 events in a week, I think it'd be better than, hey, you had the U.S. Open, boom, we were flipping right over to here. Why don't we, give them like a week and then run 2 events, take that week off for them, let them practice or do what they got to do, come back and run another 2 events, regardless if it's singles or double, whatever have you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the players don't like it though.
I don't know.
Well, you got to think if you're bowling doubles and you're bowling great, but then I'm following Austin and Austin's playing the same line, but he's bowling just doubles and I'm bowling both. And Austin's tearing the lane up in front of me.
Right.
Which they do a stagger.
Yes, they
But
do
still.
a stagger skip, but yes,
but then if I got a
100%
guy
right.
messing the lane up and I'm trying to bowl for singles and doubles, it's kind of like, well, what the heck? But I
Chances
think,
are the guys are pretty good. I don't think many people would choose a partner that's going to be,
well, I didn't say that, but I'm just
in
saying,
left
you're
field.
following a guy who might be in left field, let's just say.
Yeah.
And that might
we've all
screw your
been
look
there.
up for singles. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. If they run 16 events, but then they do it a little differently, they might be able to get to 25, 26 events financially if it's possible, giving these guys a better opportunity.
I think all the guys that were bowling doubles are indeed bowling singles as well, because I see all their names in here.
Okay, so then it's got to be like an open doubles.
Because Jordan
Or
Open
PBA
doubles and
singles.
singles.
Well, they had a PTQ for the singles.
Well, they I think they have to. I don't know if they have to.
Jordan Malat 16th in singles right now.
The PTQ entries, yes.
Now, how about this? So Zach brought up a good point about Darren Tang. So if I'm not mistaken, he bowled the U.S. Open and also team trials, which I know for a fact one-handed.
Yeah,
and I know he's been practicing two-handed.
YouTube.
And then he said that
they wanted him to try it in the middle of the U.S. Open. He's like, nah, this might be it. So I'm just gonna ride it out.
Yeah, but then he switched for the PBA event to two-handed.
Yes.
So back to what we were just talking about 5 minutes ago. I wouldn't consider him a finesse player, but he's a thumb player, and he's straighter.
I think he's,
So
you talk about the power guys at the top of the game. He's not there.
Right. So what I'm saying is,
he's more of like a
in
tweener
order to compete on the tour, he
thumb.
feels like he needs to go two-handed.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying to the point that we were making a few minutes ago about how the PBA patterns seem to cater to a certain style, and it's not straighter and finesse. It's more open up the angles and rip it up.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are pretty good anyways. So, I mean, I'd assume the lanes open up pretty well. I mean, I don't really, I'm not right-handed. So how much do I really know about moving? Not much. But, I look at it and say, yeah, I mean, for him, the way he is, I mean, the guys who are winning, EJ Tackett and all the guys without a thumb, physically, I'm not trying to be mean, but physically he's just not as good. So he's got to be twice as good with his transition moves. He's got to be twice as good with his equipment, and he's got to repeat shots better and have less air room. And he even said on his podcast or his video, I think.
Yeah, his YouTube.
He said, my bad shots need to be better. Like my bad shots need to be good, and my great shots need to be. I need to have more great shots.
Right. You need to have all excellent shots with the occasional good shot.
Yeah. And he basically said that, and he goes, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get there with my thumb in it. So I think I've got to go straight two-handed. And to be completely honest with you, it was funny because the little short guy, Ronnie Russell, went up to him and says, just go two-handed. You don't have to be that good. You'll be fine. And then he walked away. He's like, everybody, you don't have to be that good. But so I do think that it was probably the better play. It looks like he gets a little bit more rev rate out of it. He gets to like 475 on his TV show or whatever it is instead of 430 or 420. So that'll help. And his ball speed, I think, is a little bit higher too. So, maybe he doesn't have enough games under his belt to really, he's got some tournament play with it, but, doing it full time out against the greatest players in the world, I mean, let's hope that he can repeat pretty well. I mean, he's probably going to be bowling every day. So I'm sure he'll be pretty darn sharp. It's just a matter if, he makes the right moves and, with the two-handed stuff and can get a few more hits, which I think I saw a few of them and it looked like he got a few more hits.
And it seems like it's just the way of the world, not the two-handed thing, but even like Mikey Slayball, where you have both at your disposal. And after his performance at the U.S. Open, Mikey's, he actually won a tournament two-handed when he got back.
Wasn't he hurt?
Yeah, he hurt his thumb. Or no, he changed the pitches, which screwed up the pain in his hand. But then with his two-handed equipment, I think it's much better. Clearly, since he won.
I don't really know.
Oh my God, is Joey D about to agree with me? Like you said, Kyle, the higher rev rate players will always open them up more. They just are like two average players throwing the ball. Rev rate determines the play of the lanes and how they open up. Yeah, that's. I mean,
it's pretty spot on, Joe.
Yeah, if you got a lot of surface and a lot of revs, the lanes are just going to blow up.
And then Joel says that he's got a pretty decent two-handed, and he looks forward to seeing what he does. I do too, actually. I do think that his two-handed game is pretty good for a guy who kind of does it on the side. if he does full time, I don't, you never know what's going to happen. I think that it could help him and benefit him on the tour. Honestly, like he wins all the local stuff. He kills the regionals. So, I mean, honestly, if you're on the tour, you might as well give it a shot. And if you can get sharp enough, just do it you probably do even better on the local and the regional stuff. And you're probably just going to excel pretty well. You're getting all the moves now.
I'm just waiting to see the Brad Miller announcement that he's going to him.
Brad, I don't know if he will, the bald eagle, but I will say, it's interesting because I watch him bowl like the first half of the year every year. I like their videos. I like the tournament format. His game always looks good. And then
the second half, it kind of just tapers off.
It doesn't taper off. Yeah, it's not as good. It's not as sound. But what happens is I think that he's forced into doing things that
he's not comfortable.
His body is limited at, let's just say.
Like he
like Darren Tang. He has to open up the angles. And then Brad's got to kind of get on the lane more. He's got to hit it a little harder. And he's more of a shot maker.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though he's more of a shot maker, he's got to have a little bit more extra juice on it. I think halfway through the year, if you don't have that success, you're going to be trying to grab or reach for it. And I think that's what he does. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can look at the difference between, we'll just say EJ Tackett or even Andrew Anderson's a big left side open cranker. Like he just stands left, throws right. But let's look at EJ Tackett. He's obviously the most successful player in the world in the last couple of years.
It's the bold statement by the Ryan Schaefer saying that EJ Tackett is the greatest bowler of this generation.
How can you argue? I mean,
he says better than Belmo.
How can you argue? He won like how many times last year?
I'm not arguing.
I'm just saying you can't argue that fact.
I'm just saying what he said, and then a lot of people are agreeing with him, and then people are saying gives you hope.
But what I was going to say was you got EJ who is basically plants and then he turns right almost and throws it right.
Yeah,
and then you've got Brad and Darren and
Darren's
all the guys that play straight. But
Darren doesn't play straight. He hopes.
But if you watch his game, when he gets left, it's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Doesn't have enough juice.
And same thing with Brad. These guys don't have the same physical game that EJ Tackett. And I'm not saying that everybody should have the same physical game. It's just that EJ is able to do something completely different by just completely opening in his body and just
he uses a lot of torque to get there.
And actually, your dad, I was talking to your dad yesterday or the day before, and he's
doing it right now. He's swinging just like he's bowling just like EJ. He says
what he was talking about, I forget who the heck he was watching or talking to, and he said the whole new game and the whole new way to practice is imagine like you have a hockey stick in your hand.
Yeah, that's what they say.
So you got your left, if you're lefty, or for your righty, you've got your left hand over the stick and your right hand under the stick, and then as you go through your approach, you bring the stick back. Which is exactly connected. It's exactly what you're doing if you are able to open up that way, and then when you throw the ball, you bring the stick down.
You slap shot.
Yeah,
I think it may have been a Storm Stafford. That I saw the video.
So
that's been a drill, I think, for a little bit now, though. I've seen a few people talk.
But if you look at that, I was saying to your dad, I'm like, so that's exactly how EJ Tackett bowls. Like when he started doing that, I'm like, that's what he looks like, right? He just opens up and then anyway. So then I'm like, and that's every other sport, like stick sport. Baseball, you torque your bat or you torque your spine, right?
Well, not really.
Golf. Yes, you have a twisting motion.
Yeah, but you don't go backwards.
Well, you start back there. Sorry.
Well, back goes to 45 degrees. You kick it this way for 45.
And then your hip don't care about all this.
Right hip goes.
I'm just talking about the twisting.
Everything.
Yeah, it becomes a rubber band. You're talking about a rubber band effect.
But what I'm saying is, that's how you train in a lot of those other sports. So to see it in EJ's form, and I'm trying to think of who else is very similar to that. Where even Mikey Slayball, he does the same thing. That I don't know if he's emulating EJ or if it's just natural for him.
Little Mikey kind of gets close.
He just gnaws on it. Mikey gnaws on it. Little Mikey.
He does. He tries. I tell him, if you're gonna bowl like anybody, you're gonna keep your thumb in it. Bowl like EJ. I don't care how you just friggin' EJ it.
Yeah, it's hard.
You have to.
Anyway, I just that it came to mind when I was talking to your dad. I just thought that was an interesting note. Way to practice like you got a hockey stick in your hand.
Great, can't wait to watch you try that.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay.
I got to work in the morning.
Are you kidding me? Wow. Kyle's shoulder getting past 2 degrees of rotation.
I mean, I do have a little bit of shoulder. I do, but I don't don't think I do it as much as they do.
Listen, I tried for almost a year to keep my hand in front of me and open up my shoulders, and my body was just like, stop it. You're not this person.
I don't know what I do.
You're not that guy, bud.
I just know it hooks.
Yeah, you're all right.
All right, you got your iPad in front of you. What is going on currently in Illinois with the scores? I do know, since we've been talking about EJ this whole show, after coming off the win, he had a difficult start to the tournament, but another ridiculous finish where he almost made match play. So he had like a 127 game in there. And was real far down in the standings. And then I think it was yesterday, crushed him, but missed by 10.
Yeah. Do you want the update?
Go ahead.
So, Austin, I'm not going to go to that. I'm actually going to go to the match play, which is a little bit up farther. You can do that if you want to do the full standings, but I'm going to talk about the yeah, you got it. Well, the more important thing. Oh, wait. Reporting from you live. The one guy that we're all going to root for on this show, we got to root for Sean Rash.
Listen, I know he has a thumb in it, but come on, our buddy Ogle's in there.
Oh, he's bowling Matt.
Yeah.
Oof. I got to root for show guy.
But like Zach said,
Ogle.
if Rash loses,
he's down one. He's down. He's down already.
Right, but if he loses,
it's a two-handed fest.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So you've got Eric Jones, who has beat Chris Vi 236-217. Sean Rash lost to Matt Ogle 249-256. Now they do have to bowl more games. Everybody.
Yeah, is this all
best
6 games or best of 5? Okay.
And then we've got
if they got to win 4, it's best of 7.
Yeah, best of 7 because I'm looking at Tommy Jones and Matt Ogle. They went 7 games.
Yep, and Santu beat Haines Stipich 221-212, and Tim Foy Jr., friend of me. Beat Jason Belmonte 253-225. Tim's a good guy. I would be rooting for Tim.
You're telling me Tim Foy doesn't new phone who dis you?
Nah, I never messaged. I don't have his phone number, but he's like we chat when we're out there bowling. He's a good guy. I bowled him before. He's always a pleasant guy to be around. And he's like, hey man, we got to support these bowling centers who support us. So he always buys food, goes and has some beverages after.
Nice.
Usually. So good guy as well. Good overall, good guy. So those are our one game in here. Notable standouts. Graham Falk made it. Lost to Tim Foy in the quarterfinals. Sean Maldonado also lost the same round.
The jumpy wonder.
Ryan Barnes lost in the same round. That's one lefty, and there's a lot of two-handers on this list. David Kroll lost the round before. Tommy Jones, Chris Prather, and Nate Stubler and Billy O lost in that last round,
all
quarter round.
Thumbs are out except for Sean Rash.
Now, Bill O'Neill could have beaten Eric Jones. I believe he needed a mark and 8 to win in the 10th frame of the last game, and he's 7-10.
Oh my god!
So it's not like he wasn't there to win the match. He just got kind of a break that.
Billy O is always there to win the match.
If I was there, I would have knocked down one of those ones.
Yeah, friend of the show, Bill O. For Eric Jones, crossing guy from the Masters. Remember?
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember.
Perm.
Oh yeah.
Had the same haircut. Good guy. He's got quite a personality, I will say.
He's one of those dry humor guys.
Yeah. And he's got the big glasses. He's just kind of like a goof, big left-handed.
Wow, Jordan Millant and Eric Jones tied a game in match play.
So that is for the singles portion. For the doubles portion, I didn't really get to see too much of it, but there are a lot of 300 games. We've got 3, 6, 9. We got about 10 300 games. Scores.
Is that including Wes Malot's back-to-back 300s?
11, I believe.
Yeah, that is including his back-to-back. That was both were in round 3 of qualifying. Match play teams. You've got Jason Belmonte and Billy O, roommates and teammates.
They're always at the top on the doubles.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, come on. I mean, you wonder how like the moves are. Like, hey, Bill, I think you need to just take your thumb out of it, and I wonder if they talk about that or just
I have to feel like on the tour there's very little coaching or suggesting, right?
Yeah. I mean. If Belmo's your partner, and I think Bill is pretty receptive.
Well, first of all, they're obviously striking, so it was irrelevant.
Yeah, they're probably just like, "Hey, man, where are we gonna go eat after this?" You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how they are. I mean, I like to watch Belmo's vlogs as well. I like how he talks about the lanes, and he talks about what his transition is gonna be like. But obviously, they were whacking him here.
You know what's funny to me? Side note: Belmo started doing a lot of social media like a couple of years ago, or about a year, maybe 2 ago, which. So, social media and
YouTube.
those types of things, interacting with the people,
Yeah.
have only been, or not only, have been going on for what, 10 years now. But as his numbers have declined on the lanes, his efforts online have increased. So I'm wondering if he's getting a little extra stream of income.
I think he really started getting into it during COVID because he was stuck in Australia.
That's true. Yeah.
I think they just want him to do it. I think he has his own videographer.
It brings it to the sport, yeah.
I think the PBA and Storm want him on there, so I'm sure that they're like, hey, we're going to send you around with a videographer. Don't worry about it. Just do your thing.
It'd be nice if they did pay for it. Yeah.
I'm sure they probably
do.
You know, I would assume so.
Freaking Belmo.
But I will say, going into round 1 of match play, they are leading by 110.
Yeah, they're doing well. And then you've got Matt Ogle, Sean Rash, longtime partners, a friend of the show, Matt.
They're always in there.
You've got 2 lefties, Matt Sanders and Graham Favre.
Wow. Wait a second. Matt Ogle, Sean Rash, doubles partners, bowling each other in match play now in the singles.
That's interesting.
Didn't even cross my mind. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think about that stuff because my brain doesn't work that fast. 4th place, we've got Chris Prather and Andrew Anderson, actually roommates and now fellow staff members. They did talk about that on the vlog that Andrew Anderson does. Sean Maldonado and DJ Archer, a little bit of an interesting pairing.
Yeah, you've got Jumpy.
Have they been partners for a while?
Lofty.
Yeah, I mean, it's I
think they've been partners for quite a few years, haven't they?
Yeah, they probably have. I mean, most of these guys have. Wes Malott, Jordan Lott, father, son. Hayden Stipich, Anthony Nyer. They're pretty strong. They're both from PA, so it makes sense. Troop and Svensson are also up there. They're also roommates. Dombrowski and Bailey Maverick. I'm not sure how they got hooked up, but Ohio and Indiana are pretty close. Father-son duo, Chris Barnes, Ryan Barnes. Chris Vi and Darren Tang. Do a 2-handed duo. So Darren Tang is obviously doing well enough.
Lefty and righty.
Nope. Righty and righty.
Dude, my lefty and right is
terrible.
Getting bad the last couple of weeks.
Are
Chris
you
Vi's
even
not left-handed?
Kyle, are you a bowling podcaster? Are we positive?
Dude,
you're terrible.
Last week, I thought freaking what's his face was left-handed.
Yeah, Robarge.
Yeah. No, right-handed. I thought he was right-handed.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's left. You're like, no, he's right. I was like, all right, maybe I'm wrong.
Chris Vi's left-handed.
And you've got
I need to go to sleep. Is what it is.
Sterner and Smallwood. That's a different pairing. I don't think I've seen them both.
Back to running the 2 tournaments simultaneously. I guess the nice thing is a bunch of those guys are no longer in it. The singles, pardon me.
No, they're not.
So they get to at least still be in.
That's what I'm saying.
For doubles.
You get a different thing here. You know what I mean?
And it didn't cost you any extra to be there for the week. Well,
that's what I'm saying. That's
maybe
why
the
you
entry,
should
but
do 2 separate tournaments or whatever, however you figure. Then the last few teams are Don Bear, Anthony Simonson, Kevin McHugh, and Tim Foy Jr., Cam Crow, and Nate Stubler. That's a lefty pair. There you go.
There you go.
There's your lefty pair. And then Packy, Hanrahan, and Mitch Hoope, which I believe are the reigning
both
champions.
Left-handed.
No, they're not. Which I believe they're both. That's the reigning champion team, correct? They have one together.
I believe so.
That's the reigning champion team. So good to see them up there.
Mitch Hoope lays it 3 millimeters down past the foul line.
Yeah, guy, and he gets on it good. I like the way he rolls it.
But it never works for him.
So smooth.
Well,
he doesn't score.
He probably can't open up the lane with the way he rolls
right, very
it,
forward.
Yeah, he's more of a forward rolling player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nevertheless, a lot of good teams here. A lot of different players from the singles, like you said, Kyle. So it gives them a better chance to cash while they're there. So I'm thinking
twice. Yeah,
I'm thinking, why not run those 2 events and then take a week off? I mean, they're gonna get more games in. Then they're gonna have a week to get where they got to get. They don't have to rush if they have to do something else. Bingo, bango. It's gonna help you kind of get some more events in. A little bit less of a stressful travel. So interesting take. I mean, maybe give them 5 days in between, like a baseball guy. You know what I mean?
So
get there.
I would like to say quick, if pins are carrying over into match play, the top 3 teams have a gigantic advantage.
Big lead.
Huge leads.
Yeah, so match play round 2 has not started. This is after round 1. The top 3 teams are at plus 1,045 or higher. The leaders are 1,182, and then 4th is 930. But it is going to be bonus pins, I'm assuming, if it goes into match play. If it goes into match play and they're going to do round robin,
you can make up a lot.
You can make up a lot of pins really quickly. Yeah, because then there's a position round, step ladder final. So you're going to see a lot of bowling, a lot of bonus pins here. And to be honest with you, anything can happen. Teams within striking distance, if they can start to win and put up big numbers. And I don't remember if it's Baker doubles or not for the match play. I don't believe it is. But that's your field report with Anthony. Thanks, Zach Phillips, for also helping me here talk about it. But where else are we going, Kyle?
Goat Juice wants to see Simo and Tang as a doubles pair.
Interesting. They're both from Vegas. I mean, it doesn't not make sense. Tang goes there from time to time. So,
what has Simo been doing this week?
He's playing bowling in the doubles. You mean like his scores?
Yeah.
Oh,
thanks.
Are you looking for singles or doubles?
Yeah, singles. I just want to know what his scores are like because he was doing okay. Where did he end up finishing for the U.S. Open?
He finished. I think
Simo.
Here we go. Simonson came in 42nd in the singles portion. He had a 300 game in there. He made a rally late, but it looks like the beginning block was not good for him. 266, 195, 187, 181, 194, 175. And then he started to bowl a little bit better where he had the big games there. But with the pace that they had this week, it was not a good start.
Yeah.
U.S. Open, I think he lost the opening match.
Okay.
So he won the first TV show.
Yep.
He won like that weird Saturday one.
Yeah. The 9
and then he was hurt.
They only have nine-man step ladder.
But he's hurt. He's bowling hurt. He could not sit down during the match.
Hemorrhoids?
Probably back problems.
Yeah, probably more or less back problems. He did lose in the first round on Sunday, so he came in fifth. I think he lost to Chris Vi in that match. Was it Chris Vi? Because Chris Vi,
I believe so.
I was in League Placid this weekend, so I didn't get to watch any of the show.
Exactly who he lost to, but
sounds like
he opted not to sit down the second day because he wasn't able to get back up off the chair without having pain. And the way he bowls,
I hate that feeling.
He is pretty horizontal at the line.
Yeah, a lot of
stress. And I guess he was with the massage therapist that is on tour, and they were working on it. And they're trying to get him back, but he wasn't quite full strength for the TV show. But he did bowl through it and said it only hurts afterwards. It's when I get up out of the chair. Must be good to be 28 and ready to rumble.
You're not that far away. You turned 30, so you're old now.
Dude, I am. It takes me longer to warm up than all of you.
There's nothing.
I throw 4 to 5 shots in practice and then go stare at my phone.
Zero strike shots until
as long as my thumb comes out of the ball, I'm warmed up.
You're
no
weird.
way. It takes me minimum 5 shots to get my muscles loose enough to actually throw one that is decent.
Y'all are too stiff during the day, man.
I'm working, man.
I'm working too.
I was just building the chimney today.
And let's also just point out here that EJ Tackett off the big win starts 235, 127.
Yeah.
But did throw a lot of strikes at the end to miss the cut by about 20 pins. It looks like about 13 to 15 pins. So even with the 127 game and a 179 in there, he did light him up pretty well. He did have 300. So, talk about a guy who comes back from that. I honestly, if I was him, I probably wouldn't even bowl this event. Because I just won 100,000.
Take a couple weeks off. Yeah, but
listen, man, he wants to be back money earner.
Yeah, there's that, and then these guys, this is what they do. They're obviously going to bowl.
You don't think
number one
that you're worried about points? I'm pretty sure Tom Clark's gonna be like, dude, no, there's no way you're not coming on tour. We need you for TV. Like people want to see that righty thumb in there. There's never a shot
but if he makes enough money fast enough, he's just going to retire.
But that's no. Look at Walter Ray. Walter Ray annihilated the early 2000s and never gave up until he was just too old. There's no way that these guys just retire and quit, especially since that's where his income comes from, not the bowling.
Well, he's a center
from his sponsors.
He is a center as well.
I'm just saying your real income comes from CTD and
tour. Other notable guys.
They're not going to pay you the same.
Brad Miller, 34th, plus 383. Anthony Simonson, who made the TV show, 42nd. It looks like Andrew Anderson, who led the U.S. Open, 39th. There was a few other guys in here that I saw that were a little bit lower from the U.S. Open. Go ahead, jump in.
I know me and Kyle have been griping about sponsorships and bringing sponsorships into the PBA.
To the PBA.
All right. Did anyone see Kyle Troop's post
about Dude Wipes?
He is sponsored by Dude Wipes now.
The PBA is sponsored by
PBA
Dude Wipes.
is.
Oh,
that's why on the front gate it says clear, not smears.
Yeah, right. I think that a lot of people like Sean Maldonado
but that's
also
a new sponsor.
Made a post. Yeah,
it is a good sponsor
about dude wipes. So I don't know if any individual
I forgot
player
the
is
other
sponsored.
one that I noticed. I noticed
but the
another
PBA
sponsor on the
is.
Saturday show.
So the what the heck's his name?
Can't remember what
Socks.
it was.
I can't remember.
Socks?
Yeah, it's the sock company. I
There's
can't
a
remember the
sock
kid's
company
name.
sponsors it now.
Yeah, they're a sponsor now. But I don't know how much money they're giving. I mean,
Hey, sponsorship's a sponsorship.
I
man.
guess so. But
And to top it off, the last final notables from the U.S. Open: Kyle Troup 37th, Jason Sterner 36th, and Francois Lavoie 30th. EJ Tackett
French
29th.
fry.
So you're talking you've had like 4 or 5 of the guys who just were on the TV show who didn't make the cut. for
John's
this one.
Crazy
Right.
Socks.
That's
Is that
it,
what
yeah.
you were thinking
yeah,
of?
that's what it is.
Yeah. So you talk about guys who just came off the
Oh,
TV
Mike's
show.
Hot Honey. That's the one I noticed.
Huh?
Mike's Hot Honey.
Oh.
Huh.
They're sponsoring them now.
Oh, I like that. We're getting some sponsors.
I saw it on the Saturday show.
Now I wonder
Never
if
heard of it.
you talk about the travel time and the TV time. I mean, they only had like a day to get to this other place, so I wonder if that took a toll on everything. While the other guys left, there's 4 or 5 guys who made the stepladder who didn't even make the TV show.
This
or
basically
make
happens
the
every
cut
week,
here.
though. You know what I mean? So like, for the most part,
Of
they don't get a
course.
week break most of the time. But
But I mean, if you've got to travel or drive, it's got to take. Hey,
Yeah.
I got to get out of this show and I got to go to the next one.
Yeah, I
Like,
got you.
You don't give them any time. The only guy
No.
who made it that off my head that looks like Prather made it and Chris Vi made it. So you're looking at 2 guys. I might be missing somebody else in there. But 2 guys.
Ryan Abatabba says, big props to Anthony and his fine work in the lab. My intense mindset
baby.
is rolling beautifully. When are you guys going on beat the champ?
We already talked about it. When it comes closer here.
Yeah, when it's not in Buffalo.
Yeah, 2
But
guys from the step ladder.
Speaking of drilling, this pro shop is insane.
what?
There's a ton of bowling balls in here. It's February. We're halfway
Yeah.
through. Although there's always that mid-season bump, right? Where people are getting bored with what they have and they just need something new.
A lot of it
Or some
is I'm
changes.
fixing some stuff. Shay broke her thumb somehow, so we
Because
gotta
she
fix
throws
her.
at 127 miles an hour.
I got a guy who wants to plug up
Shay's
some stuff. He's getting
Austin's
It stayed
half.
on her thumb.
Oh,
not sure how she broke, but we gotta do some plug work. Those 3 I gotta do plug work down there. I just did plug work for a guy out there. I did 3 more today that I had to do.
you guys
And
can't see
then-
it, but this workbench has 15 or 20 bowling balls on it.
And
Yeah, I
Shay
gotta
needs.
do a bunch
of
Shay
stuff.
wants 3 more bowling balls too.
Absolutely insane.
So we're I mean it's busy, but we're somehow I manage.
All right.
Great novel.
Should we throw a poll up for Super Bowl doubles?
Oh, we got a lot of tournaments
We
going
got
on.
3 separate teams in this room.
So, all right, real quick before we go, we'll talk about what's going on this weekend. Saturday,
Can we?
a
Yeah,
couple of us going to Sammy V's at town.
Town Academy.
Sammy Ventura runs his monthly tournaments.
He tries
series.
to do monthly. Yeah, tries.
So that's got multiple divisions. I think women's and under 50, under 60,
It's
and then
55 and over women's or
think
maybe
it's
it's under
50 and
50,
60.
whatever it is. But they got 3 different
And then,
divisions. Janelle
yeah.
will be bowling.
4 different divisions. Anyway,
So we'll be doing that on Saturday on 43 feet. Looks more like a strips pattern, we call it. So there will be multiple places to play on the lane. If you want to play in, you should be able to. If you want to play left or
3
right, you should
point
be
something
able
to 1.
Yeah, it should be pretty good, 43 feet. And then Sunday is the big day, the 1 day a year. Kyle and Nick Harris are good. The 1 day a year. Super Bowl doubles. We are bowling on 48 feet. So I've already brought, I'm going to have a Xanax. I bowl with my wife. We are going to have a blast. It looks like the outsides got a chance to play the outside on the left side of the lane. It looks like a little interesting pattern. Kyle and Nick will be the happiest 2 men alive. Austin's going to be really happy. He's bowling with Joey
The funny
D.
thing is, last year after the lefty won it and his wife that probably carried him all day, I think there was a lot of people asking for longer because
Well,
it
yeah,
was a
but
little shorter.
But he just goes shorter, and then once he gets to super important, then he goes back to long, and he brings it back.
Right? No, I understand.
Does it
But
a cycle?
It's a rotating.
But I remember him saying to me, like, oh, we're definitely going longer next year. But I don't think it was in response to Matt. He goes back and forth 100%. But I don't think anybody expected
Only
48 feet.
27 mils, Daryl. Only 27 mils. 48 feet. Only. It'll be fine. Actually,
It'll be fine.
I do have a good idea how I'm going to play in the lane. I worked with my equipment last night. I actually have a great idea on how I'm going to play them.
Me too. I'm going to throw it down the lane.
That's exactly right. I'm going to
Can't
throw the
wait.
ball and see what happens because
Yeah.
I don't believe that you can guess or judge anything.
I
Daryl
believe
says
they hook.
They hook.
I
Everything
believe they
hooks
hook.
for
I
me.
did.
Well,
I did
listen,
do a little.
27 mils over 48 feet doesn't leave a lot of oil to get the ball in the skid.
If you think about it, he's got 22 inches per. Not to get too technical. 22 inches per second for the first 10 feet. So it's only putting on a light film. So I'm sure the heads are going to go a little bit quicker. And then the base of the pattern actually starts after 10 feet. So, as long as you can get into the right spot, you should be pretty good. They should hook a little bit. But I think that the outside, I have a good idea. I have a really strong feeling that I'm going to be able to get right on the edge. And I'm going to slam my wife's ball
And
down
hopefully
to
the 48
180.
feet gives you a little hold.
Yeah, I think it's gonna hook and then set right into it. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna grab whatever one looks the dullest and throw it.
It might be a little too much, don't you think?
I'm left-handed.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
true.
yeah,
I
I
was
think
thinking about bringing urethane, but then I was like,
I think Kyle should put a poll for which of the three teams will be the highest.
That's
we
so
got,
easy.
You got me and
at the
Nick. That's your favorites, obviously, with 3
2.5
wins.
0.5 to 1. That's or 1 to 1,
Then you got Anthony and Janelle.
which we have a second.
True.
And you know
Second
what?
to who?
Oh, really? You want to start that game? How about that year that we came in second? I had to tell Nick Harris what ball to throw. And then he changed balls to that, and then they struck a lot.
This
and won.
story
so
is,
it's my fault.
This
that
story
they
has
won.
been fabricated because I told him what to do first.
And did he
he
listen
just
to you?
went to his daddy to get the confirmation.
Well,
That's right.
that tells me he doesn't trust you, Kyle.
So think about that,
guess.
Kyle. If I told him no, you should go to your plastic ball, he would have done that instead, and I would have won. But no, I tried to be a good guy and help you guys out. All right.
me
and
and
look what
Joey,
happens.
me and Joey are the underdogs. We have not
JD3 or JD2?
JD2.
Okay.
JD3's with Jack. Pup
Oh,
pow,
Pup pow.
ka-chow.
We
Ka-chow's gonna
we
be
have
there.
not bowled this tournament together yet. It's always been me and my father.
Joey will be nice and good because he's gonna be nice and slow. You're gonna saw him. You're not gonna
as
be on the
long
same
as we can,
lanes.
as long as we can get rid of the 140 game that we always throw in doubles competitions, we'll be okay.
You know how you don't do that? Make your spares.
Girls-
Maybe you guys should get
Our
spare
one-
balls.
Our
That's
140 game in the Bakers last weekend
Austin has a
was
spare
either
ball.
a strike or a split.
not my brother.
His,
Hey,
his
Joe.
partner does
Oh no, he's got 6 of them. He says.
it.
We got
Everyone's a
6
spare ball.
balls.
Daryl said there's like 5 teams from TNC.
Yeah, we got Jeremy.
yeah, we're the
Tony,
coolest ones.
I would say you're welcome because I don't think there were any until I bowled with Nick.
Me.
You bowled that year?
I bowled with Nick Messino one year. I bowled with Janelle one year.
I do remember the year he bowled Nick Messino, and I believe me and my dad also bowled that year.
Yeah,
Still saying it's my fault.
sure.
mine
It can be
Nick's.
your fault.
You can
but
take
it's,
it. Yeah,
well,
it's
no,
all you.
Tony and Jeremy always bowl. Jack
Oh, yeah,
Kachow and
100%.
JD3.
Yep.
You and Nick, the only day of the year you guys are good. Austin and Joey and me and Brad
Must be that side of the
Yeah.
river.
and Fazone. I mean, he's
We're almost
He doesn't
there.
bowl league here.
like half and half.
Hey, you never know. He might bowl here next year.
We try.
He doesn't like us that much.
All right, guys. It's been enough time for you guys to be watching us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. If you can't watch live, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service. Ratings keep bumping up, so appreciate you guys sharing it with your friends. Share the Facebook page and the YouTube.
And
All that
when
good stuff.
the ratings go up, that's what Kyle looks like.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
Kind of looks like you though. Look at that.
a little bit, yeah.
That's pretty
Thank you
good.
guys for chatting with us tonight. I don't know what's going on next week because I may be back, I may not be back. I got to go to Florida to help your dad. So,
And you're taking my father.
yep, I'm going with Artie.
And I'm left here to work.
Same.
Stefanos, I think I'm an Eagles fan this year, unfortunately.
I'm not gonna watch. It's
I'm not
WWE. I don't really care.
I
haven't watched the past few years. I don't.
This Super Bowl.
No,
It
me
doesn't
neither.
even interest me to watch. I don't even think I watched the one last year or the year before that. I don't. You know what I like to do? I like to go to bed early. It's
You know what I
good.
like
I'm
to
gonna
do? I
go
like
to
to eat
sleep.
some pizza, some wings, some chips.
You can
I mean,
do
aren't
that
you on a
without
diet or
that.
something, Kyle? You only have a few more weeks to go
I'm
before
watching my weight.
you only got a
Go
few
up.
more
Go juice.
You got a few more
I
weeks
knew
to
I
go.
liked you for a reason.
till Bud Bowl. That's when it's over.
That's right.
And so
Finally.
how's it looking? What's
It's not
the
good.
outcome?
It's not good. It's not good.
You guys are in
Bill
trouble.
Rice is the leader in the clubhouse by far. All right, so let's see here. Thank you to Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes. Austin, thank you. Anthony, good show tonight.
I'm a little farther away this time.
Yeah, why
There's
is
stuff
that?
in the way.
Thinking of my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Ginbread.
I think we'll see you guys next week. This
Wait,
is
what
da-
if you're not here next week?
Just me and you.
Yeah, you guys can handle it.
Thank God.
Maybe we'll pull Joey.
Here,
in
I'll do this. Tune in next week
to see if Kyle's here.
We'll see you guys. This is Downlane Podcast.